This is Business Breakfast coming to you live from our studio. Nigeria's next president may spend revenue on debt servicing. This is according to the International Monetary Fund. The IMF warned that unless revenue is increased, the incoming president may spend almost top two revenue accruable to the federal government to service debt by 2026. Currently, the federal government is spending over 80% in servicing debt alone, according to a report, leaving 15 to 20% in project implementation. According to some experts, the implication for now is that for every 100 kobo realized, less than 20 kobo will be available to fulfill electoral promises. All right, let's get talking now, shall we? Mr. Martin Omobude is a business analyst. He joins us now via the telephone. Thank you for your time. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, the International Monetary Fund warned the Nigerian authorities or government that unless revenue is increased, well, the next administration may have to spend almost all the revenue generated in servicing debt. And that, of course, is targeted at between 2026. So how do you react to this?
Well, I want to respond to this by first and foremost saying that we have a government that does not understand, a government that does not understand economy, a government that has neglected the most important thing, which is economy, outside the issue of security and all of that. We're not talking basically about economy. How did we get here? You find out that over the years, even government before this particular government, they have been living on debt, borrowing and borrowing. It has come to a point now where servicing of debt, all our revenue will be for the servicing of debt, which is very, very indicting on our part as a nation, and also indicting on the part of the government, the managers of the resources of this nation. Now, we are looking at the issue of production. We're looking at the issue of exportation. We're looking at the issue of our refineries, if the refineries are supposed to be in place. We have a kind of a mono economy, which means most of our economy is dependent on oil, although we have other aspects again, like when it comes to the issue of what they call that's the airport authority, where we have a larger income generating also revenue. But the problem is that over the years, our government has not been sincere with managing our resources. Are you with me?
Well, I'm listening to you. Go ahead with your thoughts, sir.
Yeah, they have not been sincere with managing our resources. They have not been expert. They have not been good with managing our resources. And then also, we are at every point in time, we are practically importing almost everything, both the one we use for domestic and whatever, which is also entitled to any economy. Now, if we are producing majorly what we consume as a big nation, at least some of these problems will not be there. If we are producing some of the, especially like for instance our petroleum also, if we are the one refining our product, some of these things will not also be, will not be having the issue of subsidy and no subsidy. So if the international community or the financial experts or institutions or foreign institutions are now saying that we are going to be living on debt, that almost our revenue generation is going to be for the servicing of debt, I will not be surprised, because this is not the first time that thing happened over the years. So it's a big problem. It's a big challenge to the nation. It's a big concern, and it should be of a big concern to every Nigerian. So that's the way I view it.
But currently, the federal government it's spending over 80% in servicing debt, leaving between 15 to 20%, according to this report, in the implementation of project. What do you think implications of these are, especially on the nation's economy, the nation's treasury?
The implication is that if we keep borrowing using 80% and all of this servicing debt and all of that, like they are saying now, it will get to a point where we will become what's it called? This Mugabe's Robert Mugabe's country. At a point, the devaluation of their currency. I don't know how they calculated that economically. It was like they have to be using the US dollar in running their economy, and that's the implication. Because if at every time our naira begins to decline, and some of this reduces value or purchasing power by virtue of the fact that we as a people, we are servicing more debt all the time, we are not producing, it will come to a point where the economy will almost come to a halt. It's either we declare our country officially highly indebted and poor to get some other countries to support us or to come to our aid financially, or we devalue the naira to a point I can't even say what next will happen. But it shouldn't have been in the case of Nigeria, because Nigeria is a rich nation. Nigeria is supposed to be a rich nation, let me put it that way. But unfortunately, like I said earlier on, the problem is the managers of our resources who have not prudently managed our resources. So if we continue this way, it will come to a point our economy will come to a halt. That is the implication.
I mean, some have argued that the reason why the government is borrowing more, it's because it has to first address some, for instance, you have the issue of subsidy there that the government is paying, and over 4 trillion naira has been earmarked for subsidy payment in the 2022 appropriation bill, as it were. Now, what's your position about the debate on subsidy? Because there's been a lot of conversations around whether to let subsidy stay or to go.
No, I have a problem with the issue of subsidy in the first place. Why should a nation subsidize their own natural resources, what they produce? It's a big problem. You remember that when this government was coming on board, Buhari told us that he's going to put at least 3 or...
We have Mr. Martin Amabude, who is a business analyst, talking about the issue of debts, of course, the rising debt profile of the country and the implication of on the economy. Mr. Martin, thank you for your time. I needed to finish your thoughts on that. You were talking about the excuse that the government is borrowing to fund subsidy and all that. That is not the case here. So what's your position on the subsidy? I needed to finish your thought on that, whether to allow subsidy remain or it's time to let go of subsidy.
No, like I said, my position is that either subsidy to remain or to let go subsidy is not my position. My position remains that government should fix our refineries, fix some of the refineries to take care of the issue of subsidy. That's my position, very, very clear. Because it's wrong, absolutely wrong, for you to tell us that I'm subsidizing our product. So
let me come in quickly.
Of the government,
Yes, let me come in quickly. I mean, it's a pre-election year. Politicking and lobbying, it's ongoing as I talk to you now. Well, so looking at the next president, there's a big task ahead to fix the economy, to grow the economy, to create jobs. I mean, so what are your expectations as regards the next president of Nigeria? And of course, some of the issues or economic challenges that need to be fixed.
Yes, the issue, in all honesty, is that any government that is coming on board, irrespective of his background, wherever it's coming from, is going to face a serious challenge, economic challenge. Because as we talk today, if you look at the issue of thought debt from the time of Jonathan, from Yaradua, it keeps increasing and there are problems with economic issues, which this incoming government is not going to be exempted from. The fact is that the upcoming government, 2023, should put all machineries in place, at least first and foremost, in order to fix the refinery. All the refineries are fixed, or some refineries in the nation are fixed. At least it will help the economy, because they are going to, whether we like it or not, there's no magic. We are going to face a serious economic crisis in time to come. So the government should be thinking of how to fix our refinery. What we use in exporting our products and importing them into the country is too much. That is where we have this issue of subsidy. So the government that is coming on board should understand that there's serious economic challenges in its front, and how is going to, one of the ways to tackling these serious challenges is to ensure that the refineries are working, and then corruption is also reduced to the barest minimum, because we have, as we talk today, that we have economic challenges as a nation. We have certain individuals that are richer than the nation, and that's the same pathetic paradox. So we have to talk about the issue of corruption and also fixing our refineries.
Well, I think we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Martin Omobude. He's a business analyst. We appreciate your time on the show.
Thank you very much.